We started our 10.5-month trip in January of 2025. Our first stop was to see Norman in Biloxi, Mississippi. We stopped and had lunch with Tina and Roger as we continued towards Florida. We had a great time at Kennedy Space Center. We even got to see a rocket take off. It was great to see Kenny and Amy for lunch. Then Brooke and Bailey flew down for a visit to Disney World. We got VIP tickets to Universal Studios, which made the day a great day. We wanted to see manatees at Silver Springs Park in Florida. Of course, there weren't any that day, but we did have a cool boat ride. Larry found out that the Herman Hermits were playing, so of course we had to go see them.
I got married to the widow next door. She's been married several times before, and everyone was an enemy. Now where they always have.
Mystic Falls, Virginia, the place of the Vampire Diaries, is a place I've wanted to go for a very long time. We were excited to find a Walking Dead tour. Larry got to be Daryl, and I got to be Michonne, and we got to search for zombies. We volunteered for the parking team at the FMCA rally so that we could get full hookups. Larry did a great job, and I got to meet a really great guy named Jimmy who reminded me of my Uncle Big. We love going to Jekyll Island. This time, we took a dolphin tour, and we learned a lot about dolphins. It was really fun. They had the best key lime pie from anywhere we found all up the East Coast. We took a trolley tour and saw all the houses of all the rich and famous people, including the Rockefellers. Seeing the Jersey Boys was a lot of fun after we got to Savannah. We took a tour of the Bonaventure Cemetery, which was the same guy that did the ghost tour for us the last time we were there. We also did the hop-on, hop-off bus, and we got to see Forest Park and get our picture taken by the fountain. The Pirate House in Savannah is where they used to get young men drunk, and when they woke up the next day, they were on a pirate ship, and they're like, okay, welcome to being a pirate. On to Myrtle Beach, where we saw several shows. This one was called Legends, and it had the Blues Brothers, Elvis Presley, and other people like that. We saw a luau. The show was really good. The food was not, but the show was really good. We rode the Skywheel that was right at the beach, and you could see miles and miles onto the ocean. The Pirate Voyage was our favorite show of all the shows, and I got to meet a pirate from Louisville, Texas. Then we were on to Williamsburg, Virginia. Right outside of that was Jamestown Settlement. They did a great job with their museum. They had an Indian village. It was really good. Williamsburg was full of historical buildings. This is the first Congress. Then this is the oldest store in America. And this is the very first school in America. Then we were off to Virginia Beach for our very first rally with Fantasy RV Tours. Started with the Hullabaloo, where they were marching. They took us on several little excursions. One of them was Virginia Beach, where we saw this cool Neptune statue. And then they took us to the parade. We had seating right there on the street with our new friends. The parade was really good. And then the best part was the NATO tattoo. It was amazing. We loved every minute of it. Then we were off to Philadelphia. We saw the Bell, which was very exciting. Then we saw the very first Supreme Court. And then to Centennial Building, where they still have the bell ring. Rocky Stairs with a big statue of Rocky. While in Pennsylvania, we went to the Vampire Museum, which was more of a vampire hunter museum, but they did have some cool artifacts. And we got some cool pictures there. Brooke flew in while we were in Boston, and we spent a day in Plymouth. We saw Plymouth Rock. We saw the Indian Village. We toured a replica of the Mayflower. We took a tour in Boston on the Freedom Trail. We learned all about that. We saw where the Boston Massacre took place. We saw Paul Revere's statue with the church right behind it. Of course, we had to go to a Boston Red Sox game. And who were they playing? The Rangers from Texas. We drove out to Cape Cod. That was beautiful out there. And we had the best lobster roll in our life. Then we were off to Sleepy Hollow. We saw the Dutch church. We saw the cemetery. We went on the Headless Horseman Bridge, and I stood on the Headless Horseman Bridge. It was a very cool place. Once we made it up to Canandaigua, Brianna and Alice flew up to visit. We had a lot of fun around the campground. We did hay rides. Larry won the bingo. He was very thrilled with that. We went on a boat ride through the Erie Canal where we went through a lock, which was really cool because I've been really wanting to do that. So that was exciting. We took them up to Niagara Falls, where Brianna had a good time. Alice did not, but Brianna had a great time. Then we went over to Watkins Glen State Park, where they have the best pizza in the world at Gerlando's. And then Larry and I were off to Montreal to do our next Fantasy RV tour, 61-day tour through Canada. Our next stop was Quebec, and it was beautiful. The old town was just gorgeous. There was Funicula, and this is the most photographed street in Quebec. I got to touch the Holy Door at the Basilica there. Mount Montmorency Falls was just gorgeous. We took a boat tour out to Bonaventure Island to see the Gannet colony, and we got to see the Pierce Rock on our way. And then we were off to Prince Edward Island. This is where we had our very first whole lobster, and thanks to Skep for teaching us how to eat it. The Anna Green Gables house was fun, and we got to see all kinds of cool things from her books. We saw the Alexander Graham Bell Museum in Baddeck, Nova Scotia. It was very well done and very interesting. We were very nervous about taking Vinnie over to Newfoundland on the ferry, but thankfully to Bill and Ann, they made it not as stressful, and we got on and got off successfully without incident. Larry got a cool picture at Rose Blanche Lighthouse. We had a Newfie Screechin' In ceremony where we had to kiss a cod, drink some screech, and eat some weird ham stuff. And then we were honorary Newfoundlanders.
More lobster.
We found the statue of Leif Erikson, the famous Viking. There was a Viking right before the Viking feast. We had some fun at Norstead Village, being Vikings.
I went on a raining, freezing whale watching tour. It was awesome.
The Bonnie Bay boat tour was fun, and they had entertainment.
Put aside your city charm. Stop off at a fish plant at a place called Joanne's Arm. As you enjoy that.
Then that night we saw Anchors Away, a taste of Newfoundland humor. They were funny and really good. There were several little fishing villages along our route, and they were all really good.
More lobster.
Bobby and Skip went with us on a whale watching boat. That was awesome. We saw whales everywhere, and this was in Twillingate. The small town of Gander took in many airplanes on 9/11 that were not allowed to land in America, and they took care of the people while they were there. Well, my dream finally came true. I got to see my puffins, and I got a puffin bag and puffin socks and a puffin shirt. I was so thrilled to see those puffins. Signal Hill National Historic Site in St. John's is where they used to watch out for people trying to come invade them. We are standing at the farthest eastern point in North America. While on a whale watching tour, Larry was the first one to see the whale, and he won a free shot of Screech.
There, that was a good one.
Then we were back on the ferry and sadly had to say goodbye to Newfoundland. Back to Baddock again, and we saw our first Kaylee. There was a guided tour at the Fortress of Louisbourg, and we also had a soldier's lunch, and Skip bought the very last loaf of bread, so we didn't get any. The Titanic passengers burial site in Fairview Cemetery was a reminder of such a sad day in history. The Citadel National Historic Site lady reminded me of the outfits that the Tower of Terror people wear.
Of the Army and Navy according to their rank, so if you see an officer, make sure you salute.
We were so excited to see the lighthouse at Peggy's Cove, one of the most photographed lighthouses in all the world. A detour that we took was to see Mamma Mia, the play, which had a Canadian twist on it, and we went with Bobby and Skip. We got to make the cutest little pewter fishing boats at this little shop. We had a guided tour at Fort Anne in Annapolis Royal, Nova Scotia, and we ate the best German food you've ever had in your life at this German bakery.
I finally got to see a moose.
The Bay of Fundy tidal bore has the world's highest tides, and when the tide is out, the boats actually sit on a little brace that keeps it from sitting on the ground. We got to walk on the ocean floor all around and see how high the tide actually gets. Then, a few hours later, we got to kayak in the exact same spot that we had just walked once the water was at high tide, and we got to see where we had just walked, but now we're kayaking. Then I got to drive on the ocean floor out to Minister's Island. We saw the barn out there, the house, and we got to see the bathing house. Behind us is a pool that would fill up at high tide and they would swim at low tide. Annapolis Royal Gardens was one of several botanical gardens that we saw on our trip.
More lobster, and the best lobster we had in the entire trip.
Cadillac Mountain in Acadia National Park. The Botanical Gardens in Acadia National Park. And Thunder Hole, the very best part of Acadia National Park, where you get to hear the sound of thunder when the wave comes in. It's very cool. Jordan Pond in Acadia National Park. Stephen King's house in Bangor, Maine. Larry standing in the exact same spot that Stephen King stood when he made the movie Pet Sematary. We were able to escape the maze with the tall corn where you couldn't see where you were going. We found the trolls scattered throughout the woods. We took a train ride to see the fall foliage at the beginning of October. It wasn't completely changed yet. Then Brooke and Bailey flew in and we had a girls' day in Bahaba. And then we were off to Vermont. We rode the gondola up the mountain. Super fun. And then the big finale of the trip was Salem, Massachusetts in October, which I believe was made just for me. I fit in perfect. We went on the Hocus Pocus tour. This is the courthouse that they used in the movie. This was Allison's house where they went trick-or-treating at, and Allison was dressed all pretty. And this is Danny and Max's house where the top of it blew off. This is the village that they used at the very beginning of the movie. And this is the outside of the village that they used in the movie. This is Larry, not quite fitting into the whole Salem scene. Then it was time for a girls' day. Bailey and I loved every minute of it. It just couldn't have been a better day. Bailey and I got our tarot cards read. The last cool thing we did was go to Witch Picks, where they dress you up as witches. Mine was kind of a vampire mixed with a witch, and then they take professional pictures of you. It was really cool. We ended our day drinking witch's blood out of blood bags. It was really cool. We did a short little recap of Boston before the girls flew out. And we are back in Texas after being gone 10.5 months.